Words can kill. The word intoxicado left Willie Ramirez quadriplegic. It sounds very similar to the word intoxicated, but it means food poisoning in Spanish. When Willie arrived to the hospital, instead of using a professional interpreter, the doctor used a bilingual family member who mistranslated the word intoxicado as intoxicated. Thinking that Willie was drunk, he delayed his treatment. And it was later discovered that Willie had suffered a massive aneurysm, and that time was of the essence to prevent this. The horrible consequences of this scenario could have been avoided if effective communication and language access policies, such as offering professional interpretation, had been in place. In 2013, the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality demonstrated that limited English proficient persons, which amount to approximately 29 million people in the United States, suffer approximately 4 times more severe harm in hospitals than English speakers. They also demonstrated that using bilingual untrained personnel can cause errors with significant consequences in about 22% of the cases. When I interpreted for Jose, the patient that inspired me to be here today advocating for language access, I realized how our health is our most important asset and how communication can truly make the difference between life and death. Jose left everything behind in Honduras to save his life from gang violence. When he arrived to the United States, he had nothing other than his body and his health. But then he got sick, went to the hospital, they didn't have interpretation services, and they delayed his diagnosis for another 2 months. After all he did to save his life and come here, we failed Jose. See, language is not only a tool to access thoughts, ideas, values, culture. It is a powerful tool. In fact, in medicine, communication is the most important diagnostic tool, and it is the key to due process in law. The paradox is that common definitions on cultural competence describe our ability to communicate and interact effectively with people across cultures, but it largely assumes that such interactions occur within the same language. Similarly, diversity, equity, and inclusion trainings are not equipped to teach organizations how to include the multilingual populations. This oversight cost Jose and Willie their health. And it is impacting 29 million people that suffer from more misdiagnoses, surgical delays, and falls, and in general, worse outcomes in healthcare when compared to the English speakers. See, how can we talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion when we have nearly 30 million people in the United States that are excluded from effective communication and access? This is not only discriminatory and unethical, it is just poor business planning. And this is the problem I want to solve. I want to disrupt the concept of diversity, equity, and inclusion by incorporating language access as a key component. I want to see true inclusion. And I have created a training program called AIDLA for effective inclusion through language access. I want to drive 3 main points. The first, not offering effective communication to multilingual communities is discriminatory, period. No ifs, ands, or buts. Second, you need to use professional linguists, such as interpreters, the ones that work in the spoken and sign language, and translators, the ones that work in the written world. Third, create a language access plan. Regardless of the size of your business, or your profession, or your industry, you need to have one. Make it a part of your budget. By including the multilingual community in your strategic plan, you will realize that you will not be doing only good by them, you will do well in your business and your bottom line. My mission is to create language access plans that are as effective and universal as hand sanitizer. I want you to join me in my vision for a more equal and inclusive society where language can be seen as an equalizer. My name is Carol Velandia, the founder and CEO of Equal Access Language Services. Thank you.